Like, I live in chronic pain from all of my stuff. And it's a real challenge. And I came forward in an Instagram post recently, and I told people about my chronic pain, and I'd suffered for 25 years from all of these spinal stuff and everything. But chronic pain is really difficult for people to deal with, that live with it. Medication, not medication, how to get through the day, good days, bad days. What is all of this taking a toll on you on a pain level on a daily basis? There has to be some days that are not good, like really tough. Some days for me are really tough. I'm not in this situation right now, but there are days that are so tough. So I want to know for you, like, what happens on a tough day? And where do we go and how do you,
Yeah.
Because I myself don't know the right path sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, how do I get through this day in this pain?
It's hard to know what the right path is. Because especially when you're in pain and you're already in a bad mood, like, it's hard to kind of think clearly. And yeah, I mean, you know just as well as I do that when you're in a lot of pain and, wearing prosthetics isn't comfortable. And on the days when I'm really sore, I have to just like, I will literally look at myself in the mirror and just be like, you know what? Pain reminds you you're alive. You're still here.
Right.
And, I do my best not to take anything for it. So on a bad day, maybe like ibuprofen or something like that. But if I have to, I will literally just stare at myself in the mirror and just be like, you're here, you're alive. The pain is a reminder that you're still capable of doing things. Go out there and make a difference, put a smile on your face. Even if you have to fake it for the day, until you
Faking it for the day is always tough. Isn't that fun?
Even if you have to fake it for the day and, and wait until you go home and then have your little fit, but at least you're out there doing stuff.
Are nights more difficult than days for you?
Nights are more difficult because it's just
the night and everything's shut off.
Yeah, everything.
And then you're stuck with your.
Physically, it's a little bit hard, and I do have problems sleeping because my mind tends to, I'm constantly thinking about a million different things at the same time.
Me too.
Oh yeah, and it's hard. It's
hard
so
to
fall
I know.
asleep.
I watch CNN. I have CNN in the background. I'm like, why am I listening to this jibber jab all night? And it's literally playing in the background all through the night while I'm trying to sleep. But I mean, I can't. Like, the quiet I don't like, and then the noise, I don't know what to do sometimes, especially when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at.
It's really just kind of finding some sort of distraction. I actually just not too long ago bought one of those, what are they, diffusers or whatever. And actually that's actually helped a little bit. But, I'll read a book, I'll listen to music, I'll do anything that kind of just gets my mind. And I'll stretch too before I go to bed. That helps me out a lot. If I forget to stretch for like a week, I can feel like my back's starting to tighten up. But as long as I stretch like right before I go to bed, and put on some music, read a book or something like that, that usually helps.
So PTSD, which is part of all of this, how is your struggle with it? Is that an ongoing battle? Like, I have an ongoing battle with just things that I went through. And people I know as well that have gone through many trials and tribulations. But how is it for you, like, that part of this whole scenario?
Yeah. So PTSD, it's a word for such a broad spectrum of things, and there are people who have it and it doesn't really affect their lives, and there are people that it controls their entire lives. And if I were to put myself on that scale, I would say I'm maybe somewhere in the middle. Maybe on the higher end a little bit, but as with anything, it's not something that can't be managed. And I know what my signs are, and I know what my symptoms are. If I'm having a bad day because of, maybe my head won't shut up, I know I shouldn't go to places that would perhaps make that worse. Or if I have a bad dream, I do things to get my mind off of it. As with most things with our body, it's never going to go away. It'll always be there for me, but it's not something that I can't manage. And that's one thing that I am trying to show, not just other veterans, but the entire world, that PTSD isn't this thing that has you by the neck and you can't do anything about it. It's a monster. Sure, it's always going to be there, but it's something that you can control as long as you want to.
So Chris has the most amazing dog,
Yes.
Harley. We love you, Harley. It's a
Yes.
cute, amazing, amazing dog. So I heard a little bit. Tell me about the story of how you ended up with Harley, and tell me about Harley. What's your day like with Harley?
Harley is, I mean, she is easily my best friend. She's been with me since the very beginning. I was a dog handler, and so that's how me and her got together. Yeah,
okay.
So I was actually in charge of controlling the dogs that went out there to smell the IEDs. And she wasn't with me the night I got injured, because you can't use the dogs at night, unfortunately. But I always make sure that people know she wasn't with me. She does her job very well, but she wasn't with me the night I was injured. But after I got injured, they retired her so that I could keep her. And I was really good friends with the contractor that was out there. And I mean, she's been with me literally every step of this process. And on my down days, she knows, she can sense it. When I'm having a bad day, she'll lay right next to me, and she'll just nuzzle up right next to me. And I mean, she's almost 9 now, and I've been with her since she was 2, and it's
God,
best.
And she's the service dog. Then?
She is.
How do you define? Is there the?
She is a service dog. She has been trained to provide services for me. So she'll pick stuff off the ground and hand it to me. She'll do stuff like that. And so she is a service dog, but she's my dog. She's my best friend. Yeah, she's my girl, and
she'll cuddle up next. She'll be there right when you need it. Right.
And
that's what they know that inherently, which is really amazing about exceptional dogs.
Yeah. No, and she's super smart. And she knows when she's working. When she has that vest on, she knows it's time to work. And when she has it off, she knows she can be a dog. So she's really smart in that aspect as well.
So she's a number 1.
Yes. Well, yes.
Or 2, or 3.
We just got another dog. His name is Vader. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So
are you going to see the new one?
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet, so I've been maintaining a low
Chris
social media
will be at a movie theater near you in line for that. Okay.
But we just got another dog named Vader, and he's a pit boxer mix, and he's her little shadow. Just does everything that.
Is Harley okay with this?
Harley's getting to be okay with it. Yeah. So she was like, okay, what's this little small dog doing around? But now they're becoming like really good friends, which is cool to see.
So you saw yourself. There you go. You see the ad for the first time, and you think.
Oh, I was speechless. Like when I saw my first billboard.
Right. Oh, let's wait. Yes, he was on billboards. Right. Okay. Like, I'm even talking about like the print ad, and I forgot you were on the billboards too.
Well, I mean all of it. I was just. I thought I'd done some modeling before that, and so it was kind of the same thing. Like you meet up with photographers and everybody and shoot, and I didn't realize the scale of it. Like I said, until I saw that billboard, right outside of Chicago, with my picture on it. I was like. So
you didn't know, like you literally saw it.
Yeah, like thousands of people are gonna see that. You know what I mean? And then when I started seeing it in magazines, and we did a press tour in DC, in New York, and they were in the bus stops, and people were like recognizing me, and I was like, is this my life right now? It was really cool, and yeah, I mean, I was just the first time I was absolutely speechless though.
I mean, it was such a innovative and really great ad. It's very powerful. Let me just say that it was very, very powerful.
It was powerful, and it was pure-hearted. In my sense, like obviously, advertisements are there for a reason,
right?
But it was the first one that I feel like I had seen in a long time that was there to inspire people, not just to sell a product, but to show the goodness of people. And yeah, I'm proud to be a part of something like that.
So the modeling and the acting. Mm-hmm. So when did this all so you came back from Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Did you ever want to do that before?
No. To be honest, I had plans to go to college and become a U.S. Marshal, like serve that way. I figured that was going to be my route. I didn't I didn't think I had really a story to give out there. And not saying that just because I'm missing my legs that I do now, but it made me realize, after I got injured, it made me realize that, I have been given this opportunity to share my story and to do so in a big way. And so that's when I started, doing the modeling. And that is why, now I'm getting into acting and doing all this, because if I can use any of that to help push this positive light of the goodness in people and the strength in the human spirit, then that right there is all that I want to do.
Well, we had talked before the cameras rolled about acting in Hollywood and like roles for, people, amputees or people that have been injured or all of that, and like changing the perception of that, or maybe them getting roles. That's one of the things you were saying that you would like to do.
Yeah, so one of the big things I would love to do is to normalize disabilities in Hollywood. It used to be where green screens, kind of like off of Forrest Gump, and I've met Gary Sinise. He's an amazing guy. Yeah, he's done so many things for veterans. But nowadays I would love to see, when they want to, and they are doing it now, actually. There's been quite a few movies where, now they'll have somebody who's, if they want an amputee, they'll put in an amputee. If they want someone with cerebral palsy, they'll put them in there. It's not just somebody pretending to do it. And I want to make that the status quo. The normal thing to do is don't fake it. Actually put somebody in there who has that disability. How
do you feel about war veterans, how they're treated now, what's happening in our political climate? Like, do you have a stance on that, or what you feel? What do you even... and I can only imagine what it must be like what you think.
That's something that's kind of difficult to talk about, because there are so many opinions, and without getting too much into it,
sure.
The thing that I try to focus on the most is the positive stuff, because the news is filled with nothing but negative things, and it seems like everywhere you go, it's just about how bad the world is, and I do agree that we need to know what's going on, but we get so caught up in that we forget everything good that's going on around us, and that's what I like to focus on, is that the shining light through all the darkness, I guess.
When you talk about acting, going into acting, like, do you have idols, other actors that you really respect their work, that you love? Do you watch?
Oh, like, yeah.
Who do you love?
On the top of my list,
top of the list.
Top of the list, I would have to say Jake Gyllenhaal. The first time I really remember seeing him, and I saw some of his early work, but the first time I really remember seeing him is in Jarhead, and it was right before I was about to join. And I remember watching him, and I was like, man, like, he's a really good actor, and everything he's done, even before then, like, he's just a really talented actor. And if I could work up to his level, that would be awesome. But I like a lot of Mark Wahlberg stuff. I think
he likes the badass, basically.
Well, there's people that
and you ride a motorcycle too?
Yeah.
Badass.
There's people that I try to derive some of what I do from them, and I just want to kind of bring that same level of intensity to the screen.
Did anybody give you a tip at GA? Was there any of the actors that said, "Let me tell you an acting tip"?
I've gone out of my way to kind of pick the brains of some of the other actors and actresses, and just to kind of see what they do. And like you said before, soaps in daytime it's a whole monster of their own. And so to get, especially the professionals, the ones that have been, there, I got to talk to Maurice, Sonny
Maurice.
Corinthos. Yeah.
Was he nice to you?
Oh, he's awesome. And we actually don't live that far from each other, but I got to pick his brain for a little bit.
Yeah,
and he's so such a friendly guy.
Yeah.
And
did you meet Laura Wright?
Yeah, I got to meet
Laura.
And of course, I get to meet Risa and Kirsten and Ryan and everything, because we've gotten to work with those.
Story.
Yeah. So yeah, just
And Michael Easton, right?
Yeah, he was the first actor that I got to work with. And yeah, we got to talking just right before we started shooting and everything too.
Last couple questions. Do you like doing motivational speaking?
I do.
How is that? Or are you doing that, or do you want to do more of that? Or
I do that with acting and with the modeling. It's been kind of put on the back burner a little bit, but I'm so used to people staring at me. So many people coming up and asking me questions. I figured, why don't I just tell everybody my story in the beginning, and that's how I was doing some public speaking there for a little while too. Yeah. And it's still something I'm very passionate about.
When people were first looking and checking out, like, how was that at the beginning of it? You probably turned it around now.
Yeah.
Because at first it was...
In the beginning it was aggravating.
Yeah.
Because, especially when I wasn't sure who I was.
Right.
It was when everyone's looking at you, you kind of think that they're looking at you like you're a monster, like
right.
you're a freak. And so I turned that around. I don't like people feeling sorry for me. And I think that's a lot of what drives what I do now is I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, poor guy. I want people to look at me and be like, that's awesome. I love what he's doing. That's inspirational. And so when people are staring at me, I'll go out of my way and I'll introduce myself so that I'm not this guy with no legs. I'm Chris. I become a person to them, and it goes back to normalizing disabilities, and kids are actually the greatest because kids don't have a filter. They'll straight up.
This is a lesson at kids and dogs. We love kids and dogs.
Kids and dogs.
Right?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, aren't they probably? That's how I felt. Like they're the least judgmental. They don't have anything They just what?
Yeah, they don't know. They're taking the world in for the first
hey.
time. Yeah, they'll see. I'm probably the first person a lot of these kids have seen without legs, and
and they have questions for you.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. And actually, on my Twitter, my description it says, "Look, Mom, that guy has robot legs," because I get that all the time. And a lot of parents, it's sad. And if there's one thing I can tell parents, don't make. If your kid has questions about things, or if they see someone with disabilities, don't hush them away. Don't shh. Because all that does is reinforces this idea that they shouldn't be comfortable around people with disabilities. And so I'll tell them, if a kid comes up to me and they ask me, okay, what happened to your legs? I'll say, well, a bad guy took them.
Yep.
And so I got new ones, but it tells this kid it's okay to be different, and yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what we want kids to know is that it's okay to be different.
And wouldn't it be great if adults too?
Yeah,
exactly. That really the moral of the story too is, can we all be okay with however we all are, and accept people for who they are? But I just want to tell you, you are so exceptional. I'm so glad we talked. I learned a lot, and I think you'll be seeing a lot more of Chris Van Etten, even General Hospital and beyond. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay.